A very good morning, students. Today we will going to discuss about the behavior perspective. Let's begin with it. If we heard about the term behavioral perspective, that means basically it is related to the curious and about it is if you have been very curious about what it meant and what the things are, and if you have an inquisitive feeling, then there is a chance that you have been talking to someone interested in the behaviorism. The two terms are virtually interchangeable. It's a theoretical perspective whereby the behavior and the learning are explained and described according to the stimulus response relationship. Now, let's take this concept a stepwise further. And the central assumption behind the behaviorism is an individual action as a result solely of their interaction and the environment. Now let's talk about that why exactly we are studying the behavioral perspective. The reason being is that once we will study the behavioral perspective, we'll understand the responses, we'll understand the basic concept regarding the human behavior, as well as we'll able to understand that why the employees are behaving in this particular manner and why they are doing this particular kind of thing in the organization, and why they are doing that. There will be a reasonable there will be certain reasons behind that, so we will able to understand those things as well. Now let's begin with it, that what is a stimulus. When you look at the behavioral perspective definition, there are the two terms that jump out at you are the stimulus and the responses. Chances are already have some understanding of what they both mean. A stimulus is an event that take place or something that you encounter that evokes a particular functional reaction in a tissues or the organ. Like if you feel you know if you feel something kind of horror kind of thing, that is a kind of a stimulus you feel. A goosebump are kind of a stimulus you feel. And what is response? Now we understand this stimulus. Let's move to the response. Response is a reaction to the something. It would be a verbal and the mm, a written response, but in this context we are speaking more than what your body language does evolutionary when you have faced the certain situation. Let's take an example. When you see the horror movie, you close your eyes. That is a response you do when it comes to the horror movie, and when you feel the fearness, or when you feel something like that. So that is basically the stimulus and the response we have heard. Now, what else we can the behavioral perspective reveal about the behavior? The simplest way to answer that the behavioral perspective only applies to the behaviors that can be observed and recorded. That might be why it lost so much of the prominence beginning about the 1950s. Earlier than that, it held the sway among the psychologists, but at that time, most of them began to favor the cognitive perspective. So we have talked about the behavioral perspective, and we listen about that why exactly this is important for for the organization's point of view. So that's all for the day, students. I hope you like this video. If you are having any query or doubt, we can have the live session on that as well. Thank you so much, students. Have a great day.